You had these extensive meetings at Mar-a-Lago Monday. What is your main takeaway from that, from your perspective?
The strength of the alliance between Israel and America. I didn't have to bring the president anywhere. We saw eye to eye. He cut right to the chase. He said, look, skip all this press stuff. I mean, the real thing is you've got to get Hamas to disarm. He just banged the nail on the head.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu touting his relationship with President Trump there in that interview with Bret Baier last night. Both are demanding Hamas disarm and have reportedly agreed on a 2-month deadline for them to do so. Stephen Yates, Heritage Foundation Senior Research Fellow and former Deputy National Security Advisor, joining us now. Sir, thank you for joining us, giving us your insight on this cusp of the new year, the final day of 2025. This was a remarkable interview. We saw Benjamin Netanyahu very calm, very straightforward. And I think it's worth noting that he is putting forth that both he and the president agree that Hamas must disarm. President Trump saying in no uncertain terms that there will be hell to pay for them if not. Your thoughts on the strength of this agreement, the two men, what they're putting forth, and what this means for Hamas, and will they listen?
Well, President Trump has had an historically good relationship with Israel, and it's one of the countries in the world where there's really strong support for the president and his policies, really dating back to the Abraham Accords, but other reasons in the first term. And there's kind of 3 baskets in the recent agreement, phase 2. Most of the world's politicians and media only focus on one, and that was the Israeli Defense Force pulling back. But the other 2 are very, very important. The other one was Hamas disarmament, and the other's an international stabilization force. And those are where the gaps really have been most pronounced. So I think the president and the prime minister clearly had an agreement on the priority on the Hamas disarmament, and the broader coalition of countries that showed up to celebrate this agreement really are on the hook for where are they on this stabilization force, which is key. Israel can't pull back, as was agreed for phase 2, if that force isn't anywhere on the map.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And Netanyahu talked about that international stabilization force and essentially how it hasn't come to fruition at this point in time. Shifting gears, but staying there in the Middle East and in that region specifically to Iran, both the president and the prime minister taking a very hardline stance on Iran and arguing that they will not be permitted in any way, shape, or form to restart their nuclear program after Operation Midnight Hammer, of course, in which it was decimated over the summer. Take a listen. This is Netanyahu on Iran and the insistence that that country accept that there is not a path forward for their nuclear program. Take a listen.
The president was correct when he said that, you know, the Fordo thing was obliterated, so they're trying other sites. They'll try that. They also are trying to recover their ballistic missile production facility. I think with Iran, the real issue is they should accept the fact that they shouldn't have nuclear enrichment capability. They should take out all the material that they've already enriched, take it out of Iran, and have inspections.
And have inspections. The president has made it very clear that there is a very close watch on Iran right now. Your thoughts?
Well, it's another area where the president has really been consistent. He ran on this in 2015, 2016. You can't really have peace in the broader Middle East with an Iran that is racing forward to the world's worst weapons and doing other things to destabilize not just the region, but the world. And he's had a combination of maximum pressure, but a focus on striking hard when necessary to degrade these WMD programs. That, I think, is the way to avoid war. There's those that have worried about a World War III breaking out, but he's effectively, so far, been able to degrade those capabilities with Israel, with others, and try to keep some semblance of the region together to balance.
And just before we let you go, there has been major concern from the other side of the aisle from the Democrats when looking at Venezuela. There was a recent strike on a dock area in Venezuela, and Representative Debbie Dingell talked about how she believes that Trump doesn't want to deal with Congress and has concerns about that. Your thoughts, your response?
Well, those of us who've lived through a lot of time in government and politics over the last half century, the executive under the Constitution has a lot of broad authority for dealing with our common defense. There's a role for Congress, but it's been debated for a long time about when and how you go to Congress. But for now, the president seems well within his constitutional authority to ratchet up pressure on Maduro, have a show of force. He's done this gradually, trying to give off ramps. That's really in the area of diplomacy, even military diplomacy. This targeted strike on facilities related to narco-terrorism, that is taking it up a notch, but it's far from the case of declaring a broader war. So I think the president's still within the confines of what he ran on and within the constitutional authorities that he has.
Steve Yates, our gratitude to you. Happy New Year.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.